Do you ever feel like all the effort you put into learning the drums will never pay off? The thing is, you could be right. The way you practice matters, because if you're practicing the wrong stuff, all the time you put in goes to waste. So how do you fix that? I've helped hundreds of drummers level up their playing and even go pro by showing them this one technique that drastically speeds up their progress. In this video, I'm going to show you what this technique is, the tricks pro drummers use to make it sound amazing on the drums, and I'll give you my simple 6-step process to master it so you can actually play what you hear in your head. To start, let me show you the technique in action. So have you spotted the technique yet? You can use it for so much, it's kind of insane. It gets you greater endurance with one hand, with a lot of repeated notes. It gets you faster, cleaner rolls, double stroke rolls, and it makes so many other patterns and rudiments easier and cleaner, pretty much on autopilot. So let's break down what this technique is and how you can use it to completely transform your rudiments and how you apply them on the kit. Get everything so much faster and cleaner. It's something that didn't have a name when I was taught it by my teacher, and it's not the same thing as push-pull. This was something that you've probably heard of, push-pull. A lot of people see my technique and come to me and asking, hey, can you teach me push-pull? And I say, no. I can't teach you push-pull. I can't play it. I don't find it very effective anytime that I've tried to use it, so it's not push-pull. Eventually, with the popularity of push-pull online, I realized, what I'm doing is not really a push and a pull. It's more of an open with the fingers and a close. It seems like a lot of other people in the world have kind of settled on the same name, but it's really rare to see it taught right and even played correctly. So I'm going to break this down for you. Now, the advantage of open-close technique is that you actually get to use 2 different movements and really muscle groups to move the stick. And when you do that, it means that you can play more efficiently. It means you can play faster in sequence, and it means that you can get everything more even because, well, I'm going to show you what this does to like your stick height. It's actually kind of fantastic. We're going to start with just breaking down what it looks like, and then I'm going to give you the steps to feel it yourself. So nice and slow, it looks a little something like this. The other amazing thing about open-close technique is I would actually call it the cure for, and I'm sorry if there's any watching, the cure for what I call the high school band teacher double stroke technique. Because if you learn drums in middle school or high school, you're typically learning to play double strokes with an adapted buzz stroke technique. If you play a buzz roll, which is all about back finger pressure, so it like starts to bounce really fast, you let off that pressure, so it starts to dribble slower, and then you just stop it after 2. That's the high school band teacher double stroke roll technique. The problem is that the second stroke doesn't bounce very high. So you get da-da, da-da, you get this. Right? It's not very pretty, has a lot of limitations because it's not even. It doesn't have clarity and attention to detail on every single note. On a snare drum, the 2 side by side, here's our high school technique. And here's our open-close technique, right? Nice and even and crisp. So you get really crisp doubles, and it's so useful not just for on the hi-hat or on the snare, but also any rudiment that has doubles. Paradiddles have doubles in them. Doubles right there. Right, left, right, left, left. And so if you do it for all of your rudiments, you get extremely even, clear paradiddles, paradiddle diddles, Swiss Army triplets. We're going to show you how to do this step by step. We're going to do this really fast. Check it out. I want you to hold the stick in the air. I want you to actually, I like doing this, dropping your elbow so that you're kind of in this T-Rex position. Back fingers should all be on the stick, and you should see this gap as well between the thumb and first finger. So all the back fingers on. It's against the hypothenar in the middle of that. And then we're going to first actually take our fingers off, back fingers, I should say. So you have index and thumb on the stick. Next, with another stick, lift up this end. You're not allowed to move your hand. You're not allowed to move your fingers, your wrist, your arm. Only the stick pivots at the fulcrum. So it kind of seesaws. You lift it up and it falls back down, right? That's step 1, the back fingers off. Step 2, put the back fingers back on, like I said in the beginning. So then the back fingers are on. And what you do is you make sure that your hand doesn't move, your wrist doesn't move, your arm doesn't move. The only things that move are the stick, which pivots at the fulcrum, and your back fingers. The back fingers specifically move with the stick, and they get opened by the stick. That's the key thing, so that you're not actually flinging them out, but they're getting pushed open while the stick goes up on the other end. This is why a big thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to do this with only one hand. This stage of practice is 2 hands, 2 sticks. So make sure it's always with both sticks, both hands. If you do it with one hand, a lot of people try to do this, but it's not the same thing. Trying to push it open with your fingers, it's an entirely different mechanic and movement to try to do that, which isn't happening on the drums. So we have to push it up over here, and when that goes up, it goes down on the other side of the fulcrum. It goes down over here, and that's going to push your fingers open. So I really recommend you do it with another stick, like so. So do it really slow. The really key thing is that you don't let any of this move. Your wrist doesn't move, your hand, your arm, it stays completely still. All that moves, stick and your back fingers. So if you can do that slow, I then want you to hold it here. Kind of looks like that, like, you know, like a sock puppet. And you should be able to hold it with your fingertips, like so. And then you close your fingers back to the first position. You can close them slow, you can close them fast, but we have this, hold it, and then close it back. Make sure you close back to a relaxed position. That means you're always going to be coming back to this to practice. So step 3 looks like this. Now, what am I doing? I'm doing step 2, but I'm knocking it up fast. What's going to happen is the stick gets knocked up. On the other side, it goes down, pushes your fingers open with some actual force. And the first thing that's going to happen if you've never tried this before is your wrist is going to go back. Even if you let your fingers open a little, they're not going to open enough. They're going to be too slow opening. Your instinct is going to be to have your hand go back with a stick, like this. Even a little bit right there is too much. What I want you to try to master is getting it to stay completely still. And of course, you got to do the other hand as well. By the way, if you're having trouble mastering this, then the first step is actually mastering your grip and getting that truly right, making sure you're not making any mistakes. I have a free technique fundamentals course that you need to check out and go through. I'll put the link down below for you. So we're doing it fast, and I want you to hold it, then I want you to close it. And when you close it, make sure that you do not squeeze and clench up and get tense, because then you're going to do it on every stroke and you're going to wreck your hands really fast, and you might even be able to do the technique, but you're going to have so much tension as you play your doubles. It's just going to be really rough on you for playing just 10 minutes. So we can't have that. You need to have like a lot of relaxation to be able to play with endurance and be able to endure a 1-2 hour set, right? If you have the core mechanics like we just broke down, well, you need to apply it to the kit. But how do you do that? Let me show you. It looks something like this. Now, what's happening? Instead of knocking the stick up in the air, I'm coming down with either a wrist stroke or some sort of molar stroke or somewhere in between, or some combination. And then as I strike the drum, it bounces up, and in the back of the hand, it goes down. It pushes my back fingers open. A really key thing is that your wrist drops. You want to make sure that you don't go down, hit it, open the fingers, and have your wrist go back up like that. No wrist going up. It's got to go down, dropping, and then it's got to hold there. Now, if you open it a ton, your pinky does not reach a stick, and that's okay. But if you go smaller, your pinky stays on the stick, and you're good with that, right? I would recommend when you can keep the pinky on, you use it. But it's not like 100% required to get a good grade here. So you've applied it to the drums, but how do you actually do like a proper double stroke roll with it or apply it to your rudiments? Well, it's going to look something like this. We're going to take that action on the drum and make sure that it's super even in terms of stick heights. When you come down, the stick bounces back up to the height that it was originally. So I'm going to come down and the stick is going to come right back up to this point. And I'm in position 2 with my fingers open. I close my fingers. I'm going to come back up to that point again. I'm using my stick heights as a measurement to make sure both strokes are even. Do that with your right hand and then your left hand for playing double strokes, which means right, open, closed, left, open, closed. With all of that in mind, you want to make sure your stick heights always come down and back up that exact same height. And then you can keep the other stick there so you have a frame of reference. I call this my stick leveling exercises. It works wonders for my students. It's really fantastic. All this together means once you have your stick leveling practice together, you're playing extremely even double strokes. The other important thing to remember remember is that tempo, it doesn't matter. I don't want you to worry about tempo at all. I don't want you to get this fast. I want you to get this even, and I want you to get it perfect. So don't just think about, how do I get this roll to sound fast like a roll? Think about, is this as clear as possible? Every single stroke, every single one completely even in terms of stick height and velocity and volume. So really listen to volume, really listen and watch for your stick heights. I'd honestly recommend quarter notes at 40 or 50 BPM. And the reason for that is you need enough time to make sure every single stroke has all the parameters that we talked about. Every single one has the volume that we need, the height we need, the motions. You need to make sure that your technique has all the other steps in place. So how do you actually get this into your music? Well, the first thing is keep doing that step. Don't move forward until it's completely perfect. And what do you do when it's perfect? Guess what? Don't go faster. I want you to repeat it. The key thing is repetition, because repetition becomes muscle memory. It becomes something that's encoded into your brain, and only once it's encoded into your brain can you repeat it on autopilot. And you need it on autopilot, or you're not going to be able to do it fast correctly, and those mistakes are going to keep creeping in because you jumped ahead and tried to do it too fast. And I do not want you going fast. It's so crucial. So how do you know when you do bump up the tempo? Well, you're allowed to speed it up when it's perfect and it's automatic. You have to have both those things in place. If you sit down and you go to practice this for the 5th time and you're like, oh, I can do this just smoothly, naturally, evenly, then BPM can go up just a little bit. If you were at 50 quarter notes, go to 60. If you were at 60, try 65, 70. Eventually, you're going to get to 100 BPM quarters. And the thing is, 100 BPM quarters is the same as 50 BPM eighth notes. So, you know, you could put it at 50, you could put your metronome at 50 BPM, turn on the eighth notes, and play along with it. And then, let's say you're 50 BPM eighth notes, and you gradually rise it all the way up to 100 eighth notes, which is the same thing as 50 16th notes. Then you just gradually get that faster and faster until you're at 16th notes at 100, 16th notes at 120. That's where it starts to sound like, oh, I got the doubles. I'm doing doubles cleaner than ever before, and we're in fantastic shape. That's truly what you're looking for. Now, there's so much you can do with this. Like I said, this is going to transform your other rudiments as well. You should be doing it during your paradiddles. Do you see that open, closed? Open, closed, left, right, open, closed, right, left, open, closed, open, closed. You should do it during your paradiddle diddles. Right, left, open, closed, right, left, open, closed, open, closed. You should do it during your Swiss Army triplets as a variation, not the main Swiss Army triplet. If you're doing Swiss Army triplets with accents, I don't really do it open, closed, but it's really pretty spicy to do it this way, which is open, closed, and then the same thing in a slightly different displacement with the left hand. So I really like doing Swiss Army triplets in unison. So not a flam, but together with the open close technique, as you can see. Right hand's open, close, and the left hand is, it's hard to say, open, close, if you look at the left. Open, close. Once you've got the hang of this technique, you're going to be playing with way more accuracy and confidence, but you need to make sure you know where to apply it on the drums so you don't sit down and just go completely blank. So watch this video next, where I'll show you how to use your newfound powers to play these spicy fills with